Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Football United TV. This is the Premier League weekend show, and now it's time for that famous intro. And welcome to the Premier League weekend show. I've got a guest on with me today, as you can tell. Rich, how you doing, Rich?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Just had a bit of a. Had a funny day today because obviously the result yesterday that pissed me off, to be honest with you. That result, you're obviously losing to Brighton 3-0, but I've just been in a funny mood. And just enjoying teeing people off. That's what I've done today, and it feels good. It feels good. But
Well,
how's your day been? Has it been all right?
all right. Yeah, busy in work today, and that's it. Really, just reading a bit of the papers about the football and stuff from over the weekend, and different articles and everything. So
Yeah. Wow, this is
yeah,
interesting. You can remember and maybe just bring them up anytime you want in today's show. So let's go on to the first topic. Right, mate. I want to start off with this topic here, mate. Southampton versus Fulham. Obviously, as you can see, as you could tell over the weekend, it was pretty much going to be, as I say, an easy game for Fulham, in my opinion. Obviously, the scoreline, Fulham winning 2-0. It's a shame, really, that that obviously Southampton got relegated. But as we know, towards the end of every season, teams get relegated, teams get promoted. But basically, I just want to get your thoughts on this game. Anything that stood out in this game for you, and also I'll take your views on obviously Southampton getting relegated. But let's have your views on this game first.
I've got to be honest with you. I thought Southampton had a lot to play for. Obviously, the weekend I was expecting them probably at home against. I know Fulham's are in the league, like, but on the day which counts, I thought Southampton would have put more of a battle up, knowing what's at stake, though. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, they never. So the result didn't lie. They lost 2-0, and that's it. Confirmed relegation. But they've played all right, though, Southampton. I mean, they got a point at Man United the other month in Arsenal, and I thought, maybe they might turn it, but I think it's been a bit late from them. They haven't been playing very well. They've been leaking goals in most games. So, but I sort of read a bit about the paper this morning, watched the highlights of it and everything, and I think possibly Fulham deserved the victory, and that was it really. Also, it was good. Well, not good to see, but must have been pleasing for Mitrovic to come back and pop one in off the bench when he come on, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did score. And well done to him in that. But does it make you feel like in this game, whether you watched the game, whether you saw the highlights on Match of the Day or whatever, it makes you feel like the way Southampton played in this game to the standard that they played. Let's say, okay, let's go back. Let's say when they played against Arsenal, in that 3-3, they went 2-0 up Southampton. In that game against Arsenal. Why was it, do you reckon, that the standard of that Southampton team against Arsenal was totally different to the standard against Fulham?
It's strange, really. I think it's something to do with the fixtures. I think some of these clubs is lower down the league, and you see this in most divisions. I think they up their game against the bigger clubs. Sometimes they can go over and get tanked 4 or 5-0, whatever. but sometimes they raise their game. And I think like when Southampton come to Old Trafford, and like you said, then the Emirates, I thought they upped their game. He was getting stuck in, and they made it hard for opposition. Like, but sometimes when they play smaller clubs, they scoop back down to their levels. Like so, but yeah, I mean, like, so I've seen some of the defending and all that from Southampton the weekend. Like, and, you're going to defend like that, and the league table don't lie, and that's where they've gone. The defense. I
Yeah,
think when you're on the break, sometimes they play well, and Theo Walcott and a few others have like done all right, like. But I think their problem has been at the back this season, like most of the clubs in the Premier League this season. A lot, Premier League clubs conceding goals.
yeah, it's true. It just makes you think because they were still obviously it wasn't confirmed they were relegated obviously when they played Arsenal, but knowing
Yeah.
that the style of play that they played, the counter attack, the way Theo
Mm.
Walcott was playing, balls
Yeah.
being pinged into the
Yeah.
the penalty box, left, right, and centre. It just didn't see many of that from the last couple of games from South. It was
No.
just like
No.
sort of give up in. They just
Thing is, another thing as well, you've got to think these players have adapted what 3 managers this season.
yeah.
And like you start off with that Rolf, and then that Nathan Jones come in with it, and then the manager now. Like so, within the space of 9 months, they've had that with three different managers and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, like you said, in midfield, they got that Ward Prowse, good set piece taker, good passer of the ball, and Wilcott was doing a lot of running, and a few other players they got, that sort of like from the field up, they was looking quite good. But like I said, I think their problem all season has been in defence.
Yeah, like you
Sloppy,
obviously.
sloppy goals.
Yeah. Do you feel that they most probably would have got relegated earlier in this season if it wasn't for like, well, let's say the one player that sticks out like Ward Price, James Ward Price, obviously with his free kicks, and penalties, this and that. Do you reckon that if he was to say injured, obviously Southampton may have got relegated going back with probably 5-6 games ago before they got relegated.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, yeah, because I don't think they've adapted well. That's they got great. I mean, no disrespect, say they took a point at Arsenal before a ball was kicked, but 2-0 up when it, then they went 3-1 up, and when you're away from them, you're 3-1 up. You let the ball do the work, like spread the ball about, run the clock down. But obviously, it didn't go that way. So, but I think, yeah, like you said, I think the way they've been playing, probably say from February onwards, really. Take the Arsenal and Man United game out of the equation, but I think the other games they've played and everything, they just haven't been good enough.
No, they haven't. No. Just one quick question in this game, obviously regarding Southampton. James Ward-Prowse, obviously their best player this season by far. Obviously Southampton down in the Championship now.
Yeah,
James Ward-Prowse has made it clear. I think he's made it totally clear that obviously he wants to leave. I think he
yeah.
don't want to be obviously playing in the Championship anymore. If it was likely, what team do you reckon would most probably snap him up, like an individual like James Ward-Prowse? What maybe someone like a Villa, maybe an Aston Villa,
Yeah,
or what?
he got a lot to offer, right? Everybody looks at him. When Southampton got a free kick this season, rightly so. He's probably one of the top 4 or 5, or if not more, our free set piece taker in the Premier League of the era. Like, but take that away, but he do a lot of work on the ball as well and off the ball as well. Like he spreads the ball nice and everything.
Yeah,
I think he could suit a Newcastle or something like that. Like Aston Villa team is trying to get into the Europa Leagues or something like that, round about that sort of table. Like, yeah, he'll fit into most of the, probably say from Newcastle and everything. Fulham, Brighton. I
yeah,
like him. I think he's a very good player. He reminds me of another version of Matt Letizia, to be honest with you. Good free kick taker, good penalty taker, good passer of the ball and everything. So yeah, I think you might see him move to like a Villa or something like that. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah,
most probably like that. I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm not too sure what his contract states, as well, but it's just what it is, whether they've got to sign him or whether he's on a free transfer. I don't know. There's a few people in the comments. I'm just gonna quickly take
all right, yeah.
go to the comments. You got True City fan in here. He's saying yes, yes, yes with a thumbs up. Big up to you, mate.
Yeah.
We got Eddie's Football Waffle, big up Matty and everybody. Hit that like. Yes, hit that like as well. And also we have Sophia's Football Talk. He's saying a big up to you, Sophia.
Big up.
And also we have King Sat from King TV. And he's saying Ward Price isn't he on a free transfer this summer too? He's most probably is. I don't know. I haven't read anything like that. I just know he doesn't want to play for the obviously Southampton anymore, and he wants to play for another team. But it's most probably like what we've been saying. If anybody wants to snap him up, it most probably be a top 18. He most probably wants to have a go at Europa League. Get some European experience under his belt now. He's Premier League proven. He's just that time. He's just got to take that next step up in his career, in my opinion.
I think Tottenham would be a good club for him.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. And Matt's in the show. He's saying Football United TV. He said the pool is in above. Can Southampton bounce back to the Prem next season? Well, actually, do you know what? I was going to mention something about this on Next Up. With Southampton going down in the Championship, Rich, and anybody in the comments, feel free if you feel that Southampton are going to bounce back. Do you feel that they might do a Burnley, obviously getting relegated and coming straight back up, or do you think it might make, they might have like 1 or 2 seasons in the Championship? To build a team, because we don't know what players are leaving. All we can speculate at the minute is Ward Price is just going to leave. But do you feel like they'll go straight up, or do you feel like there'd be 1 or 2 seasons in the Championship, then they might come up?
It's hard to tell. I mean, when you look at a club who's just gone down. I mean, for example, you look at teams like Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich. They've got relegated, and because the morale ain't there, they've gone down the following season. And some clubs have come down and bounced straight back up, like Burnley. But all depends what sort of players leaves. I mean, if they keep some of the players they got there now, like your Freya Walcotts and Sue Lenners, then they should bounce straight back up. But if a lot of those decide to leave, and they think, well, we've got futures still in the Premier League, and if they're getting on a bit, then they got to rebuild again, probably with a bit of youth and whatnot. So. It's hard to tell at the moment. I mean, you ask that question really when the season starts to see what sort of players have left or if they've stayed. But if the player stays there, what they've come down in Premier League with, then I can't see any reason why they shouldn't bounce back up. Because they got the ground, they still get the fan base there. I mean, they still get 20,000, 25,000 a week there, because they're a well supported club, So yeah,
they are.
So go with the transfer window really with them.
Yeah, they are a well supported club as well. Yeah, and it's depending who's going to be their manager next season as well. Whether it's going to be the manager they got now, or unless they're going to literally turn around and say, "Well, look, we need somebody else in just to get them."
When the clubs do come down out of the Premier League, it do cost them a few quid, so they've got to look at their eye earners. And as players and managers, if they got to make cuts, then obviously they're going to let the big players go, like the World Cups and the World Prizes, and that's cut the wage bill as well. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one. I'm going to go on to this one first, Rich. This one, I'm going to talk about this one, because the next one is probably blowing me up, and I might probably have something to say about this one. Right, so Man City, hands on the title. Obviously, with their game, they were absolutely brilliant in this game against Everton. Sean Dyche, Everton. To me, they never had a chance. I was watching I was watching bits and bobs of the game. Then I was watching the highlights on Match of the Day 2 last night. They weren't in this game at all, Everton. I mean, and obviously with Man City. I think, in my opinion, it's safe to say Man City's got their hands on the title. Is 100% they're going to win the league now. But to me, the way to describe is like Haaland, but the way to describe that team, Man City, is like their own machine. They there's no such thing as they don't turn off. Man City. You think of it now. It's either tomorrow or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. They got Real Madrid. Wednesday night they got Real Madrid in the Champions League, the second leg of the semi-final, and they've drawn 1-1 away at Real Madrid, and now they're back in at the Etihad.
Mm,
I could see them. I could really see them most probably winning this game, depending who comes out first of all. But let's go back to the Premier League here. I just feel in a minute that they've got everything in that team, everything that you need in that team. They just got class, quality. It's like robots. They're literally running around and they don't switch off.
yeah, they're full in the FA Cup final. Yeah, I know what you're saying. They got. This is where you get a successful side like Man City, because it's all about the squad. Like, when you're playing FA Cup games, league games, Champions League games, you've got to have. If you're rotating, you've got to rely on players that could come in and do the job. This is where I feel Arsenal fell this season, because they never had the squad. But I don't know. I think you could be a twist in it. I might be wrong. I don't know. But I know what you're saying. Man City's obviously got the game in hand, and this. But it all depends. If Real Madrid, I know it's chatting about Premier League, but if Real Madrid comes over and he knocks them out, it all depends. That could be a bitter blow to them if Real Madrid knock them out. And sometimes that can have a bit of effect on the club on the game after. We've seen that over the years. So you never know. Man City could slip up the following weekend, get a draw, you don't know, and Arsenal could beat Forest, and then it's back on. So I think a lot of it depends on this semi-final game. I think it'd be a very big blow to Man City if Real Madrid comes out, because you can't write them off, Real Madrid. And then, if that happens like that, it all depends how you react in your next league game. So to me, but all they got to do though is beat Chelsea, haven't they? Is it Saturday or Sunday they're playing?
I think it's Saturday. It might be Saturday, but it's like what I said. I think Man City now. What are they on? Is it 85 points now?
So, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Arsenal can only get 87. Arsenal can only get 87 points now to finish the league off.
I'll probably say, more likely now. Obviously, I'll probably say it's probably overlate, but yeah. But because I can't see Chelsea doing Arsenal any favours. I've got to be honest with you, Chelsea's been absolutely diabolical this season, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they have been. Yeah, they've been absolutely terrible. It's like Frank Lampard. I just, a part of me feels sorry for him, but I just feel like now he's, no matter what team he's going to manage, if it's a Premier League team, I feel that they got no respect for him. But look when he came into the Championship, when he first managed Derby, he did really well. But I feel now, I don't feel like Frank Lampard is a Premier League manager. He's not Premier League proven. I'm sorry, but any Frank Lampard fans out there, I'm sorry, he can't manage at all. Matters about, I don't think he can manage a team in the bucket, in the Championship. But you never know. I think the only thing that he can probably manage these days, I don't know, is most probably a pit in a bucket. But it's just that's just the way it is in football management. 1 minute you're in, and the next minute you're out.
There's a few managers like that. They weren't, like grown up supporting the Premier League team since the 90s and watching them finish their careers and then going to managers. A lot of managers have been very good players and great players, but never off it management. Steve Bruce is one. And I think trouble with Frank Lampard, I don't think he's too much of a nice guy. I don't think he got no backbone or anything to have a go at a player either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's too soft. You can't go into. You can't go. It's like when you go in. You've got you're a manager. You're the boss of your own company. Sometimes I know it's not horrible to be like. I don't like being like it, but sometimes the saying is you've got you've got to be a complete floor steward in one way to do it like that. The other thing as well, seeing we're on this one, talking about Southampton's just got relegated. Everton. Now, can you see Everton going down, or can you see them just surviving by the skin of their teeth, or what? What's your opinions on the relegation battle?
Well, obviously, there's a team playing now, isn't there, in the relegation battle with Leicester? Are Leicester second bottom now, or?
Well, they are. The latest score is Liverpool is winning 1-0.
There you go. Yeah, I think obviously Southampton's gone. I did say I reckon it's Leeds and Leicester. I think Everton. I don't know what their running is, but they always seem to pull a 1-0 out or a point out the bag. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm going with the three. It is now Southampton, Leicester, and Leeds because they're shipping goals.
yeah. Did you see Leeds?
Yeah, I think Leeds. Oh yeah.
You don't think Sam Allardyce has got the standard to keep him up?
Nah, nah, nah,
No,
no. He's bit off more than he can chew coming back there. I think to be honest with you, man, I can't understand. I don't understand that appointment. I think they'd have been better off keeping that. Was it March in charge? He proved
yeah,
last season he kept them up and done well, and I think he could have done the same. But again, with Leeds United, they sold a few players on in the transfer window in August. Went Rafinha to Barcelona, Kelvin Phillips. They spent a couple of quid, but nothing major. So, I think they got themselves to blame really with a bad transfer window and January as well. You look at the league table, you sort of like mid-January comes after the season, you think, well, the league starts ironing themselves out. We're too like Leeds have been down there all season, so I mean, why they didn't go in the transfer window and try and get a couple of players in or whatever, I don't know, because they've had the money there. But nah, I think Leeds are gone, and I think Leicester go with them. I think that's the three I'm going for.
yeah. But if anybody's interested, is James that scored the goal for Liverpool. He went to VAR, checking for an offside, which to me, to be honest with you, it did look a bit tight, whether it was offside, but obviously the goal's just been given. So, is Liverpool 1, Leicester City 0 in this moment in
Come on,
time.
Leicester, get a point at least.
Right. Now it's time for this one.
It's the question I've been looking forward to.
It says here in the link, did Arsenal bottle it? In all fairness, I'm just going to give a little brief of my view because obviously, as you know, I do a show, Gunners from All Corners, on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Still trying to get some random guests for that show, some people for that show. I think it's going to be a show where I think to be honest with you, Friday night for more Friday night Gunners from All Corners. I think it's going to be maybe a bit heated on that show. Which I think it will be. All I'm going to say is it seems there did Arsenal bottle it. Yes, we did. I'll just give my views over first, Rich, and then you can have your views on it as well. I think Arsenal did bottle it. To be honest with you, who do I blame? You've got to blame the players, and also you've got to blame the manager, Mikel Arteta. He's apologised. He just said after his interview, he said anything for the fans, and he just said sorry, and that was it. To me, that wasn't good enough. Just to say sorry and not address why you are sorry. Where do you think it went wrong? Well, let's be honest, where it went wrong. We're all saying it went wrong. It went wrong in the West Ham and Southampton game. That was 4 points dropped, right? I think when Sean Dyche took over at Everton in his first game, losing 1-0 to Everton, so that's 7 points. With the points that we, you know what? I don't understand this, Rich. And for the sake of me, this is Arteta. There was one time that Arsenal was 11 points above Man City, and when I say at 1 point, I'm going back about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks ago. And then from that 11 points gets reduced to 8 points. Okay, fine, yeah. 3 points that right, we can take that. And then we lose to Everton, Man City win, and then what does that do? That takes us down to 5 points clear. And then obviously drawing the 2 games with Man City's winning, obviously drawing the 2 games against West Ham and drawing the game against Southampton. I mean, but yeah, we were just talking about it. There's the standard of this Southampton team that played against Arsenal, and Arsenal let them dominate possession and let Southampton go 2-0 up. I believe Southampton went 2-0 up in, like, I think it was, if I recall correctly, I think it was like the first 25 minutes of the game. But I feel it's standard. Arsenal fans, they just don't know what to say at the minute. I've seen it on different streams. If you've got you've got the players, you put the players in the categories. So if you had the top of world class, then you had you had good, then it was mediocre sort of thing, then it was poor, and then it was rubbish. So with me being me, I would have to make another category under the bottom one. It says rubbish, and on that category, and I'm not worried what anybody says or thinks of this. On that category, I would write on there dog shit, and I would pick up every single player from Arsenal and put them in that category in that game against Brighton. Seriously, I'm not joking. I'm calm now, but this is what I'm going to say. This, I think, is going to be a bit of a heated Friday night from Guns from all corners. So if anybody wants to watch a heated stream, then I think you should tune in on Friday. And that's it. Or pick every single player in a box, pick up the box, and just launch it. And say, right, you ain't getting on the team, you ain't getting on the coach, you piss off, you fucking walking. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel at the minute. And I just feel that the standard of there is slipped. I know that we finished 5th last season, and it looks like obviously we're finishing 2nd. It is an improvement. People think Arteta hasn't been backed this season, but let's be honest. For a team that finished 5th last season, the Cronkies is giving Arteta and Edu 160 million to spend this season in both transfer windows. 160 million. So from finishing 5th last season, if that to a certain extent isn't being backed, I don't know what is. Seriously, I don't. But Rich, I don't want to rant on more because I want to save it for a stream for another time. I'll have your views on this game, mate.
Well, the views on the game, I thought first 10 minutes, I thought Arsenal was on obviously the home side. They were on the break a bit. There was one point come down to Odegaard. I thought he was going to smack him with his left foot, and he decided to pass the ball over, and I thought, well, that was open for a shot. But regardless of that, I go to second half. I think Brighton looked the angrier side the second half. I thought they dominated your midfield with that McAllister and everything. I would have got that Thomas Partey on a little bit earlier when the game was 0-0. You could see the game was being stretched by Arsenal and everything. Brighton was picking the ball up, picking possession. It was going out to the left, out to the right, up the middle of the park, spreading the ball about lovely and everything. That was where Arsenal lost the game yesterday. Was what's that? Tell him, Rich, get at it. But yeah, that's where Arsenal lost the game. I don't think they was strong enough in the midfield in the second half, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I think it's going back to Arsenal's season. I think it's been a bit of a hit and miss, really. I mean, I can understand why most Arsenal fans are a bit disappointed, especially after being on the Premier League for so long since they've gone for it. I think they went top of the league and they stayed there for a long time. Gutted, obviously, cut the games left. They threw it away. Like you said, the Southampton result, I think the West Ham result, and also I'll put in the mix as well. I know, obviously, going to Liverpool was a hard place to go, right? But being 2-0, and Liverpool was in a bit of that part of the season. There was a bit of their crisis period when they weren't getting results, weren't they? Like Wolves beat them. I think did Bournemouth beat them as well around about that time? Liverpool,
they beat 1-0.
So, so I feel like 2-0 up away from them. Easier said than done. I know, shut up, shot. I think that was 2 points drop, especially and all that. Your 2 points against West Ham, your 2 points against Southampton. But when you look at the last 7 games, or 7 games, I read it in the paper. today, Arsenal have won 2 out of their last 7 Premier League games. If you're going in for a title, no matter what team you are, that's not title form. And obviously, like I always keep saying, the league table don't lie, and that proves now why Arsenal are second this season. But I think they've had a successful season. From fifth last season up to second now, and if they've got, I've said for years now, and I'm going to maintain it now. If Arsenal's going to challenge anybody next season, was it you said 160 million?
Yeah.
That 160 million I will blow in defence. That's where Arsenal's problem is in defence.
I've been seeing it on streams well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'll just talk a bit more about it, and then and it'll be on Friday night show. I mean, you look at this. I mean, look at our defence now. We've got Rob Holding. Nobody likes Rob Holding. Everybody wants him out.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody wants him out. Gone. There's talks that Tomiyasu could be leaving.
Yeah.
And to replace Tomiyasu, they're on about who's playing now. Leicester. Oh, King Sat. Yeah. Totally agree with your comment as well. By the way, Arsenal could be after Leicester right back. The Belgium international. Is it Cassie? What's his name?
Cascada.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Is that right back? Yeah.
She's a singer.
What?
She's a singer.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that that's who Uber in talks with as well. There's talks about Tielemans, but I personally think because Tielemans is on a free, I think personally he might go to Juventus. There's talks of him going to Juventus as well.
Okay.
Kieran Tierney, there's reports that Newcastle wants him. I don't want Kieran Tierney going. Shevchenko, who plays left back, he's always drifting out of left back and going up towards midfield and find it hard to get back sometimes. This is the problem that we have, and also it's like the players that look at the one player we bought about talent. Well, I think talent, but about 160 million. Pablo Vieira. I mean, all we can judge him on is that good goal he scored against Brentford. 35 million. He hasn't even already featured in the team. If that was me, I think that was a bloody waste of money. I would have rather just put one player up in the reserves and save 35 million myself, and then wait until Smith Rowe got back from injury. I know he had he was out a while for injury, but I rather would have just done that personally. But why not?
But like I said, I mean, I find that Kieran Tierney, you've got to look at him. He's in and out. He's out injured. He's back. He's out injured. He's back. You've either got to take the gamble with him. You've got to say, time to move on, or we're going to stick with him. I don't think your fullbacks is a problem, to be honest with you. I think your main problem it's been the last number of years is your centre backs. I don't think Arsenal got a decent holding centre back there. Like something like a Commander, a Talker, anything. There's nothing.
Gabriel's not bad. I think Gabriel's good. I mean, he's still young, Gabriel. Saliba's still young, but he's like obviously till the end of the season. Obviously, Shevchenko's out, I believe, possibly towards the end of the season as well. So, there's a couple of injuries there. I mean, it makes you think. The way Arsenal played against Brighton, the next game, we got Nottingham Forest. Next game. Can we? Is it possible? Can Arsenal get 3 points from that? Because the standard of players of what Arsenal's got compared to the players what Forest has got, you would most probably think, well, that most probably be a comfortable win for Arsenal. Most probably predict a 3-0 win.
No, I think Forest to beat you. At the end of the day, out of that Nottingham Forest manager, he got 105 players to select from.
Well, yeah, the players, I know, but is that a team Nottingham Forest? Do you think they'll survive?
Yeah. I mean, they went. No disrespect, I know Chelsea, but they went there the weekend. They got a point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got a point and all that. So I think they will survive Forest. I think I do believe. I think when I looked at Arsenal yesterday, you would have thought that was last game of the season. The whistle went. And it was down to the title that day. they looked drained. They looked physically done in Arsenal yesterday when that final whistle went. And I think that's a big blow from yesterday, losing them to Brighton 3-0. So where's the Forest match to? Is Forest in? Where's Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it might be a Forest is going. And
Yeah.
I think
If Forest
I
win,
think our last two games were away. The last two games against Wolves as
you've got
well.
Wolves and Forest to win. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if you're interested now. Is coming up towards half time in that Liverpool and Leicester game, and Liverpool now are winning 2-0. I didn't see who the goal scorer was, but Liverpool are winning 2-0. And there's 6 added minutes. Sorry, 4 added minutes on, and well, yeah, it's pretty much half time now. Yeah, the whistle's just gone for half time.
When this finishes up, we might have to go over on Chris's show and see what kind of mood he's in.
Yeah, most probably will. Yeah, there's another comment here I'm gonna bring up with what Matt says. It said Arsenal did well, but just a shame they didn't take it to the very end. You're right, Matt. You know what? I don't know. There's a few things that, as an Arsenal fan, you can say about this football club. You could turn around and say, did we bottle it? In other words, did the pressure get to us as players? To the players, and that. The problem that I always find is with Arteta. When Arteta picks the team, the formation, starting line out, and plays the game, Arsenal, I think, are going to be. I think they're starting to get predictable now because Arteta, to me, it sounds like he's got a plan A, but he doesn't never have a backup plan, a plan B, if anything's anything's occurring, like sort of thing. I know he's capable of bringing on these players and his subs and bringing fresh players on, like any other manager does. But if you're going to bring a player on, bring him on in his sort of like position. I mean, it changed the formation.
Tell the truth. You want him out, don't you?
I wasn't happy when we first had him because I wanted a proven manager after Unai Emery, and he wasn't a proven manager. He was the pupil. He was basically, you might as well say he was Pep's pupil, which he was. But but I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the way I look at it, we finished twice 8th under Arteta, 5th. That's his 3rd season. Now this is his 4th season. We're finishing 2nd. But what people don't realise is when he's going to be the manager next season. That's 5 years. 5 years with 1 trophy, 1 FA Cup. No, that I'm sorry, but that's no good. I mean, if next season we're in the Champions League, we ain't going to win the Champions League. It'd be nice to go far in the Champions League, maybe like a round of 16 or stroke quarterfinals, obviously depending on the type of players and the quality players and the players we need to fulfill these positions. He's got to get the right players. But apart from that, I'm not too sure. So we're not going to win the Champions League. The only two that you can go out for is the league and the FA Cup. I mean, let's be honest, Carabao Cup. Arsenal, they don't want that cup, which obviously I don't blame them.
I don't know why. Because at the end of the day, I mean, what would you rather do? Like, I mean, I'm a Man United fan. We got the Carabao Cup and the Trophy Cabinet this season. I'm happy as punch to say at least we've won 1 trophy. Do you know what I mean? And people say, is it in the League Cup or is the FA Cup and whatever? I think when the season starts, there's 4 competitions. If you're in Europe, Europa League, whatever, FA Cup, Premiership, League Cup. I think you should go out to win them all. And I think all this talk us in the League Cup, us in the FA Cup, I think it's bollocks. I think when you start a season, you should go out to jeopardise your team to win every fucking cup. And it gets on my nerves. But, how would you feel in that if Ten Hag, say Man United beats Man City in the FA Cup and Ten Hag wins 2 trophies in his first season, Arteta's won 1 in 5?
Well, it's rubbish.
It says it all, doesn't it?
It does say it all. It says it all. But going back to the last game, the Arsenal and Brighton game, to be honest with you, you've got to give Brighton credit. So I will give Brighton credit on that. You've got to give them credit. So
There was a good
And
side under Potter, and I got to admit that. I mean, I looked at Brighton under Potter and thought they was playing good football, but when he went, I'll be honest with you, I thought Brighton had crumbled because I thought he was the man that kept them ticking. Like, do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, I think they're playing better football under this manager now than what they did under Potter.
yeah, I found them under Potter. I found them they were more defensively. They played more defensively, but now they're doing both defensively and attacking. Now I noticed Brighton's attacking more under this new manager, and the goals. I think if you look back on the league this season compared to last season, I think you find Brighton's goal difference is actually better this season than last, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, someone in the chat who is watching might prove me wrong, but it certainly looks that way. Anyway, we're going to come up to this one now. This next topic: can Brentford make European place? Obviously, that game they beat West Ham 2-0. Obviously on the weekend, they've done really well. I think if I remember correctly, I think Brentford is sitting in ninth. There's what now? Have they got 2 games left? I think they've either played 36 or 35. But to be honest with you, if you look at the table and the way Tottenham are performing this season as well, it looks like Brentford can actually slightly creep just above Tottenham, if I'm not mistaken. But it's basically, I know it's Europa League, but there's a chance that they can get Europa Conference to be in the Europa League Conference next season.
Well,
So but it's all depending. But before that, Rich, before we talk about that, I just get your opinions on this Brentford and West Ham game first of all?
Well, I think personally, I mean, all right, Brentford went, what was it, 2-0 up, and then West Ham got one back. And for the life of me, I think this VAR's, is costing teams and whatever. I mean, I looked at that VAR decision yesterday when that ball hit the post from that West Ham player, and the bloke had his hand up like that. Obviously, he was by the post. Ball comes off the post, it hits his hand because his hand's already up. Now, if the ball's at the post and he put his hand up like that, then fair enough. His hand was already up before the ball hit the post, and it come back, hit his hand, went across, and I think the West Ham player tapped in. The goal should have stood because it was not an intentional handball. 2-1 back, you're back in the game. A bit of momentum and everything like that. But nah, I think the referee killed that game. But credit to Brentford. Mind you, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I thought Brentford would have had sort of like second season syndrome. But no, they've proved it wrong. And even if they don't make the Europa League, they make this what's it called? Europa Conference. That's a brilliant season for them.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Can you see can you see them slightly getting above Tottenham in the league? I think they. I think the way it is, I think they can finish above Tottenham, or it's the same points goal difference. It's something like that, but they will be challenging for it because obviously the way Tottenham are playing at the minute, they've got rid of Conte. They've had that other interim manager who now I think he's now left and he's got sacked. And is it Mason or someone that's in charge?
Yeah, Ryan. Is it Ryan Mason?
Ryan Mason.
Yeah. I don't see why they can't. I mean, I don't know if they've got 3 or 2 games left, or what the point situation is, or they're running what games they got over the way. I don't know, but we just basically look at it. You could think, well, if Brentford can, get there and finish above Tottenham, to me it would be a surprise because again, I look at Tottenham this season. I look at Chelsea, and I look at Liverpool, and they've shocked me. All right, Liverpool's come up a little bit now, but I think it would be a little bit too late for them. But I think they've had shocking seasons, and if I'm honest with you, I expected a lot more from those 3 sort of clubs.
Yeah.
But if they do finish above Tottenham, it's no surprise because Brentford, they went through a period of the season, didn't they? It was about 16 games or something like that, unbeaten. Like they got through quite a lot of goals in there, So why not? Credit to them.
There's one other thing I want to talk about as well. Obviously, on this game, Brentford next season, Brentford. Now, I think he's going to play obviously towards the end of this season. And I'm going to bring up again this betting scam with Ivan Toney. Obviously, they've let him play towards the end of this season, and I think he's going to come up within the next month or so. Can you see anything happening with Ivan Toney? Do you think he most probably get like, I don't know, he might be banned for the first 10 league games of next season, maybe, or what do you see happening there?
It'll go each way. Don't know. To be honest with you, I mean, I haven't read too much into the situation. All I've done is looked at the headlines of it. Really, what surprised me, probably might get a bit of an FD fine. I'm more likely you probably get like I don't know, a 9-12 match ban or something and everything like. But I don't think he, at the end of the day, what he's done is wrong, and I don't set a sample to the rest of the young lads coming into the game and players around him, and and I think if anything do happen to him, I think he'd be a big loss to Brentford, because I think his goals this season is it's put Brentford where they are in the league. But
exactly. We were watching it. I was on the phone to you last night. We was watching, and they were talking about the top penalty takers as well, weren't they? And Ivan Toney was on the actual list.
Yeah,
With,
he was. Yeah.
Shearer, Lineker, and McRickard. So, but yeah, I do agree with what you said. I reckon he is the betting scandal is horrible. Maybe he should have just done a goals galore and just thought, well, that's it, it's done.
Or he won a few quid and they chucked the judge a little backhander, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, true. Yeah, but we don't have.
But Gerrard got away with it.
Yeah. Right. Come on to the last bit now of the show. Obviously, on this topic now is the player of the weekend, Rich. Who's your player of the weekend and why?
My player of the weekend, well, there was a couple I've seen, but the one who pips it just for me, I'll probably have to go for Gundogan, who plays for Man City against Everton yesterday. I thought I was watching him. I mean, they don't do this player Camel Sky anymore, but I was watching him, and I'll be honest with you, his movement on and off the ball, and he picks a ball up. He lays it out to the wingers, like your Jack Grealish, and he come on, and Foden was out there. Lovely free kick. He put one in the top left corner yesterday. I mean, no goalkeeper would have got all of that. He was in the right place at the right time for his first goal. So, yeah, as an all-round weekend performance, he was my player of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, I think mine. You know what? On mine is going to hurt me to say this, Rich, but I'm going to have to pick a Brighton player.
I'll have gone with 11 of them.
Because I might, sod it. I might say team of the weekend and just throw the whole Brighton team in there. But unfortunately, we've only got to pick one player. So you know what? I was thinking in that time, I'm going to go for McAllister at Brighton. I was picked between McAllister and Caicedo, but what it was, that Caicedo, he did that tackle on Martinelli, which I thought was horrible. There wasn't no need for it. He'd come off injured. And also, if you actually see what he done after the tackle, was when he went up and shook his player's hand or tapped his hand and said, "Look, I got it for you." That's what it looked like to me. And I didn't like that, to be honest with you. And I thought he was, well, I'll be honest with you, I thought he was an asshole to do that. So that's why I'm giving my player of the weekend. I'm giving it to McAllister. I thought he was brilliant in the game. His work ethic was absolutely amazing, on and off the ball. Well-timed tackles. His passing was good on the pitch. He was even instructing. I know Dunk was captain in that team, but for me, he felt like a vice captain. He was actually calling out instructions on the pitch when he was watching the game as well. But I know he didn't score, but it was just his work ethics for me that really stood out in this game. So I would have to give it to McAllister.
He did that, like I said earlier on in your show, about half hour ago, wherever it was. I think the second half, he dominated the midfield. I mean, he was running, spreading the ball. He was always looking up. He was bringing Brighton players into play and everything. Yeah, he did have a very good game yesterday. I've got to admit that what I've seen of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just read this comment out from Matt. He said, obviously, thanks for viewing. Yeah, thanks all for viewing, and thanks for the people that was watching the show and putting your comments. Nice one. I want to pick you up for that one. He says, up next is Las Ligas, the champion show, which obviously Matt be back. I'm not too sure what days that's streaming. If Matt's still watching, he most probably put the day in. If he knows the day, he most probably put it in the comments as well. And it's like all what I say, always smash the likes and thanks for subscribing as well. We've got a couple of we've gained a few subscribers on this show, and we just basically want a few more just to build this show up basically, and without you lot watching and putting the comments in, we can't do it because of you lot. So we just want to say thank you, and and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and you like. Even put a comment in the show if you're one of those that put a comment in. Yeah, and press that like button as well. But more so, I just hope you enjoy today's show. Rich, just one more thing before we go. I just want to say your team, Man United, they won 2-0. You beat Wolves 2-0. Do you want to give a quite quick insight of that game and talk about the game? Basically, you got the floor, mate.
And this time of the season now, some clubs that were spending in the relegation zone, you're trying to get in the Champions League or you're going for a title or Europa League. Sometimes it's part of the season. It's not about the performance, it's about the result. Clean sheet, 2-0, nothing special. Nice to see Martial with a goal. Nice to see Garnacho back with a goal.
Oh, that was a good goal. Garnacho, that was a good goal.
Now we get a few players back fit now. Rafael Varane come back. I think Rashford was a little bit of a blag the weekend. He covered him with a sort of like slight injury and everything. I think he's trying to keep him fresh for the FA Cup final so nothing happens to him. And let's hope we get a few players back for the FA Cup final and we stop Man City winning the treble. But regardless of the result, I was happy. It was nice to keep a clean sheet because United's been letting the odd goal win against Brighton and West Ham and a few other clubs over the last few weeks as well. Right, we beat Villa 1-0, but yeah, nice to see another result. But we've got 3 games left now. Bournemouth, we got Bournemouth Saturday. We got Chelsea next Thursday, I think, and then last game of the season Fulham. So to me, I think that could be 9 points for Man United. So I think we're next. We might scrape third because I don't know who Newcastle got left. You never know. So yeah, I think we'll be all right now. That was a big 3 points for us the weekend. So even though the Scouts twats are winning now, but yeah.
Well, you just read my mind. So I was actually going to say to you, can you see yourselves finishing third? But you've just said it. So yeah, you reckon you can finish third, and great if you do.
Well, no disrespect. Ten Hag's first season. If we won the League Cup, never know in a game of football they could win the FA Cup. Not saying they will, but you never know. And if we can finish third in the Champions League, I think that's a successful season for a manager for his full season. Considering the shit that with there as well, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has got seems to work, and hopefully, I think what you need next season, the main thing is a striker for next season. But we'll just see what that is, and I'm not going to believe anything next season until I see the player sign. The shirt and the contract signed. You see it on there, then on the telly, then that's it on the final transfer window.
I think Man United would be the busiest club in the transfer window this summer. That's outgoings and incomings. There's a lot of deadwood there from 4 or 5 previous managers that's still hanging about around the club. I think what Ten Hag needs to do now is start shipping them out. A couple of Solskjaer's players, get rid of them. A couple of Van Gaal's players still like Martial. I don't want to see Martial move, but to me, I think it's for the best. He's injured, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in. So to me, I'd rather just cut the cloth, get rid of him, get some fresh blood in there, and start going for it next season.
Yeah, well, I think that'd be you and us, with maybe players coming in for next season, but
Yeah,
hopefully more so us. But you never know.
yeah,
But
you need it
anyway,
more
that's
this season.
yeah. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and that's it, people. So enjoy the rest of your night, and
Enjoy the
hope you
rest
have
of
a
the
nice
night.
one. And let's hope your teams have done well. But if you're watching this and you're a Southampton fan, then commiserations. But you might be back.
And commiserations to Arsenal as well.
All right, yeah, fine. Keep looking up. Right, I'll see you, folks. I'll see you Friday night at 9 o'clock. Gunners for more corners.
I'll try and get
All right,
Are we
hang
off
on,
live
winner.
now?
Yeah, hang on, winner.